and then we'll start with the cutting. Okay. I think I got enough stuff now. Oop. All right. Let me check here. I hear myself, so I'm good to go. Nice. All right. All right. Put that right there so I can actually see chat. Okay, got myself together. I always start the stream a little early and then come out here and do what I need to do, which often includes some setup time, because that's essentially what I got to do here. Excuse the cough. It's not too bad today. It's currently about 31 degrees, so it's still freezing, but it's not terribly cold compared to what it has been. Hey, buddy. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I feel I'm a little overdressed right now. I should be in my Bermuda shorts and stuff for this temperature. But yeah, it's nice. I'm just going to keep practicing some cutting today using my SWMZ-1004 that I just reviewed on the channel. You can see that because I just feel like playing with this one some more. All right. I wonder if I can go up. Probably could. Obviously, this thing cuts really well. This isn't a hard target, though. I forgot to put my safety glasses on when I'm cutting. But, yeah, this one's smooth. I'll save some of those other ones. Another pretty smooth cut there. Is this simulating getting ambushed on the road by a group of water bottle brigands? Yeah, they're a bigger threat than you think. They are a really big threat, and you should be prepared by buying a sword. I'm just saying. Everyone should be prepared buying a sword. Infamous Brotherhood of Quench Thirst. Yeah, they're terrible. Absolutely terrible. Impaled. Rajender. Hey, welcome. So yeah, that thrusting is pretty nice. Sit here and slowly let it just drip out little bit by little bit, little bit. Yeah, Matt, I really enjoy this sword as well. This is the Generation 1, which I know it's not as popular as the Generation 2, but I still really enjoy it. Like, I was talking with someone else on the channel, because I did review this entire sword. If you haven't seen it, you could check it out on the channel. But I do have a full review of this sword. And this one seems to get lost as the scabbard keeps falling over. It gets lost in translation, lost in all the noise of the other swords that are out there, specifically the newer version of this that has a more typical type 18C blade. I didn't say it was better, I said it's more typical. It has a wider base. This only has like a 2.5-inch base. The other one has closer to a 3. But this one has a lot of nice stuff on it. I was talking to Festina about this last night, or the night before rather, how much I love this little rain flap. Like, I never thought I would like them on blades before. I always thought they were a little weird. This one I really like, especially when I'm doing German, because this crossguard, while I love this crossguard, I hate this little ridge. It's too sharp, way too sharp. Well, it's not sharp. I should get that right. It's not sharp. But when you're doing German longsword, they often emphasizing thumbing the blade, you know, but this digs into your thumb when you do that. The leather cushions it quite nice. And it keeps your grubby little thumb off the blade too. So, you know, it is what it is. So it's pretty nice. That one wasn't that great. That one tore a bit more. We'll try this one right here. Actually, we're gonna try from over here. I'm not as good going from the right side, so I really should practice that. Now, to be fair, while I might not be as good going from the right side, it's still cut really, really clean. I really feel like I should just have a trash bin over here. I don't even know why I bring my safety goggles if I'm not going to wear them. Woo! That's this leg. We're going to practice that again. That one was not good. Edge alignment was bad. He just went rolling down the hill. I think I want to do it this way. I'm sure I'm practicing my footwork. Where'd that one go? Oh, right here. Pretty clean cut. Frozen models. I think I thawed them. They were frozen, but I think I thawed them. One of them just went sailing down the yard. But yeah, they were frozen. I don't think they are now. But it is cold, so they could be freezing. I guess that's a bigger thing. Let's see if I can find this bottle in the snow. Well, it's starting to freeze. we go. Hope you... Nice. All right. That one was not too bad either. Oh, let's see. What's chat saying at the moment? Love this sword. All right. That one was better. That was a lot better. Whew. I really want to know. Oh. Definitely need more practice with those. I am not hitting those at all. Oh, good. Smoke's coming right at me. Been thinking of buying this sword, but I have no idea whether to get the 1.0 or the 2.0 or the 2.0 with the double ring. It's a good question. Waiting for my wood smoker to stop blowing directly in my face. Well, question I would have for you, if you're thinking about buying this one versus the others, let's just for the sake of argument, I'm not even going to count the one with the double ring for right now, because it's using this the 2.0. You're paying for the double rings and the nicer finish, I think. It will bring the weight back a little bit. Like, there's your point of balance on this sword, give or take. It's probably just a little closer. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's your point of balance on this sword. With the double rings, it will probably bring a lot more weight back here and let you, maybe have a little bit more tip control. The other tip is obviously more rounded than this one, which is more fitting of a Type 18. This is a weird tip because it does look a bit more like what you would expect for like a Type 15 or a Type 17, but with no reinforcement. Now, to be fair, they have reinforced this since this one came out. So even this model, all new ones they produce, they thicken the tip up a bit. But it's not going to be as thick, I would imagine, as, like a true Type 15, like my Albion Mercenary, which is considerably thick, like 3mm thick. It's pretty thick. I would be surprised if it was that thick. You don't get this nice little rain flap, leather flap, or whatever you want to call it. Which again, some people like, some people don't like, but it is only available in this model, which I think does set it apart, and it does look quite nice for this sword. So I like this one. The blade is a bit thinner, obviously, like profile-wise thinner. I think they're about the same like distal taper thinness between this one and the 2.0, because this has really good distal taper. It starts out thicker here, and it thins out a little bit till about the halfway point, and then the last bit, the last half really thins out with this sword. So, I don't know. I like this one. I like it a lot. This is about the thickness of a sword that I like. And maybe, I like the Albion Mercenary. I love the Albion Mercenary. And its profile thickness is, I think it's a little thicker than this, but it's about right there. So I really like it. I would probably like it more if that tip was maybe cut off and then rounded a little bit to be more like a typical 18, type 18 subcategory. Because I don't think you need such a needle tip for thrusting. You really don't. I mean, this thing is a thrusting beast, but because it's so thin, you do have to be careful. Giovanni, make a Legend of Zelda Master Sword. I actually have seen some people do that, but I don't think I'd want to wield that thing. It's so... I mean, obviously it's a fantasy sword, right? But it is a little weird. Its proportions are weird. I don't know how anyone could get it to work like a real sword. The double ring one is heavy, 1810, 3.99 pounds. Yeah. See, 3.99 pounds, it is on the heavy side for a longsword. You're right. It's not out of normal range. It's just on the heavier end of normal. Sort of like me. I'm on the heavier end of normal range for a person of my height. I should probably be a lot lower. You'd probably drop about 20 pounds. But, it is what it is. But, yeah, if the balance is right, it's not that bad. Emblem Arms actually did a video on the sword that I helped design, the Type 20A. He had the mono steel version, and his is over 4 pounds. This is like 4.13 pounds or something like that. And he's like, you wouldn't feel like it in the hand. Like, it doesn't feel like it weighs 4 pounds. If the balance is right, you can hide a lot of that weight. Hey, Jason. Dead Pixel. This is not a Witcher sword. I do have Witcher swords that I need to review on the channel. I'm kind of waiting because I have an idea for a Witcher-inspired skit to go with the video. But I need some help from some friends to help record it because I can't run the camera and, act in my little 2-minute skit at the same time. So it's a bit of an issue. So that's sort of waiting, probably till springtime. Then I'll work on those Witcher swords. Curvy boys with curvy swords. Yes, Festina, that's exactly right. But yeah, I actually do have some really nice... I actually have all the Witcher swords that Swordier produces. 2 of them are Sword Buyer Guide exclusive ones. I have those. Those are both available. And I will do a review on them. Oh, yeah. Actually, Dead Pixel, I just started replaying the second one. I've done all of them, but I want to 100% complete them on Steam, so I started doing an insane playthrough of Witcher 2. I'm only missing, I think 8 achievements overall. Most of them are story-related, so I just have to pick the right path, which kills me a little bit, because that means I have to follow Irvoth instead of following Roach, which means I don't get to go after Triss, which really hurts me internally. But to get those achievements, I guess I'm going to have to do it that way. But again, insane mode means I can't die either. So Do I stream games also? Sometimes. I do have a gaming channel. I haven't done a whole lot on it recently. Been doing more sword stuff. But every once in a while I do. But yeah, I do have a gaming channel, and then I also have this sword one too. But thank you for the sub. But after I'm done with that, I have to go do... There's one achievement I am missing in... Well, actually, there's 2 achievements I'm missing in Witcher 3 to finish that up, including... if you played them, it's not really a spoiler, but I ended up killing Kara Metz because when I played the first game, because I thought she was terrible and I didn't want her to succeed. But there's an achievement for getting everyone to help in the the final battle, and of course I couldn't get her to help because she's dead. So I have to replay that, and I have to do it on Death's March mode. So those I think are the 2 I'm missing. Ah, I'm glad you're here. Who? I'm just gonna say who. Hey. Just playing Witcher 3 about an hour ago. I'm so excited for Witcher 4. So normally I do not collect swords that are fantasy. I have some from like Lord of the Rings, etc. But I like using swords that are historical and that I could take to competitions and stuff because I want to get into competition cutting even more and really compete. Like right now, I'm not very good. You saw me just bat some targets away. So anytime I have to do, these straight across horizontal cuts, I am not accelerating the blade enough with my pummel hand to really get through, or maybe my edge alignment's off. I'm not really sure. I'll have to re-watch this and try to figure out where I messed up. But I would definitely lose points on that stuff. However, the one exception I will make is Witcher swords, because while they're anachronistic to history, because they're often like weird collections of different stuff, most of them are grounded enough in reality that they're like, yeah, I could see that happen, even though it's likely not probable. They're close enough. So therefore, I like them. And when Witcher 4 got an announcement, I contacted Swordier. I'm like, you've got Witcher swords. I have an idea for a video to highlight them. And as Witcher 4 gets closer, if I do time the video right, it might generate some good sales. Hey, Bobby. Hello. Generally, no. Generally, fantasy swords are not allowed in competitions. It depends on the competition you go to, but they normally have rules. And some of them are pretty strange. Like even the one sword that I have that has side rings, certain competitions won't allow it because side rings were late medieval going into the Renaissance period. And a lot of the competitions that I'm familiar with, like Valley of the Sun, the new one that Chris Fields does, Lake Open, he might be a little bit more flexible about side rings. I'd have to check on his rules. But some of the other ones like that, Combat Con, I think, didn't allow side rings for cutting competitions. So that's strange. And normally fantasy swords are just blanket. No, it needs to be somewhat historical. So that's kind of where it is. But I mean, just because you can't take a Witcher sword to competition doesn't mean you can't go outside and do fun stuff like this. So that's the way I'm looking at it. Tore a little bit. So you can see the blade went in here fairly clean. It's actually, you know what's interesting with this bottle, I wonder if it's because of the cold. The actual line of cut is almost perfect. There's a little bit of scalloping right here near the end, but not as much. But there is a little bit of tearing, which might mean I didn't hit a spot that was... A couple things it could mean. One, could mean my edge is dulling a little bit, which is indeed something that probably needs to happen. I need to run this off on my stropping belt. That would probably help. There's no burrs or anything, but a stropping belt might help bring that keen edge back. And or my edge alignment could have been off ever so slightly, and it causes it to scallop. Oh yeah, no, you just have to check, Dad Pixie. It's no problem. It's just you have to check. Each competition's a little different. But generally speaking, the general rule of thumb is all these HEMA competitions, because they're, you know, reviving this tradition of historical European martial arts, therefore require the swords to have been somewhat based on historical pieces. So, you know, you're not going to see any Witcher swords or anything like that. However, there is a sword producer by the name of Stephen Lockwood. Really good. Festine, if you're still watching, what are those metal rings called here in the center, which are typical in all the Witcher swords? I don't remember what they're called. He'll know. He puts them in his swords. Chris Fields of Sterling Armory puts them in his swords. Typically, they scream Witcher, but they're good. Oh, ferrules. Yes, ferrules. Yes, those things. Coda, that's not a very strange question, because I saw a guy wearing a hoodie like this on Cult of Athena video, and I said the exact same thing. This is a, oh, there's the symbol. It's like Zatan or Zhatan. You can put it into Amazon. If you want, take a screenshot of this thing right now and use the Amazon thing. Just post the picture in there and it'll bring it up. But it starts with a Z. It's like Zatan was the name of the company. I got it because it kind of looks like chainmail, or not chainmail, scale mail armor. Yeah, I've asked the same question for this hoodie because I love this hoodie. So it's not crazy. Have you seen Lancelot Red Baron sword? Yes, I have. I have seen it. It's different because Lancelot Chan, he puts such an edge on his cutters, his supreme cutters and stuff like that. It's crazy. But yeah, Cody, this hoodie's fantastic. Zatan, Z-H-A, something like that. But again, that's the symbol. Like, again, I showed you the symbol. So if you go to Amazon and highlight it, that's the store symbol. Starts with a Z. Sorry, I don't remember how it is off the top of my head. Shave my back with this? I probably could. A little bit like a fisherman sweater. Yeah, they actually do have fisherman looking ones too, with that like crosshatch type look. But this one I got specifically because it looks like scale mail armor. There was a guy, like I said, on Cult of Athena who was cutting. He got his in France somewhere. And his looks like he was wearing ringmail armor. And I'm like, I want that. I want that so bad. Am I out of bottles in this bag? Nope, I am not. There's your cut. Not too bad. I do need to strop this thing. Mark the guy, yeah. No, that wasn't too bad of a cut. I do need to run this on a stropping belt just to give it a bit more of an edge. Because I've already cut tatami with it. I cut a ton of bottles with it. So over time, you should give it a stropping every once in a while. Let's see. feel like I hit that bottle. Oh, I did. Ah! This one started to freeze. All right. Well, as is traditional, that doesn't count as a static though because I had it wedged in there, but that was a pretty clean cut. Yeah, this sword does need a stropping. I can see the edge could probably use a little bit of love. It's sharp, but it's not paper cutting sharp anymore. So, but I'd probably cut Tommy, pool noodles, a bunch of, probably 100 bottles, Tommy mats with it so far. How do I like the handle on your 20A compared to the 18C? I don't think that's a fair question. I'll try to be as honest as possible, but please take in note, Matt, that there is bias because I did help design the blade. But honestly, I like the way it feels better. Like the handling is further back. Like I showed this to Festina the other day. Like my point of balance on that sword is here. It is 1.5 inches from the cross guard. It weighs 3.12 pounds. So it's longer than this one, weighs less than this one, and the balance is better. So again, I know I'm slightly biased with it, but it is really nice. So that's kind of where I'm looking at it. Let's see, I can cut that bottle yet. Let me put that up there. Put that up. Stuff's starting to freeze a bit. Hey, Dad. You sound like Luke Shepard. Is that the is Luke Shepard the the general news dude for gaming? Because I feel like there's a no, that's Luke Stevens. I don't know who Luke Shepard is. Yeah, that's Luke Stevens. All right, you got me on that one. I'm like, I don't think I sound like him. I like him. I follow him on my gaming channel, but yeah. Oh, I am sorry, Luke. Oh, it is Luke Stevens. Oh, okay. All right. Well, then we were thinking the same thing. There was some ice in that one. But I'd say it cut really cleanly on that. I'm using my son's iPad down here. I want to make sure I didn't get it wet. Cool. Oh, that's funny. I guess if I'm talking about the Witcher stuff, it would make sense. You'd get confused which one we're talking about. Cool. All right. My son's iPad is still good. All right, let's see. Get another bottle up here. I'm going to do some thrusting practice with these tiny bottles. Oh, I missed. But I cut the paper. Man, I'm off right now. hit this one and it shifted, but I'm missing the target. I don't know why I'm missing. Let's try this again. All right, that's better. That was just embarrassing. I don't know why. I kept missing just by a little bit. I kept cutting the paper on the outside. But that sucked. Yeah. Let's do another top bottle up here. Yeah, that wasn't too bad of a cut. Pretty clean. I'm gonna have to get a new stropping belt and give this one a stropping. Oops. My girlfriend just texted me saying, "Who are you talking to?" The live stream, baby. The live stream. Oh my. You should be able to see me. All right, how many more bottles do I have? All right, got one more. Final cut. Not too bad. Not too bad. Who is live stream? Yeah, right. Who is the live stream? Wow. Hey, thanks, Dab King. Thank you for the, what are they called? Gems? Jewels? Who is live stream and where does she live, right? Yeah, Matt. When you actually hit with the stab, this thing, you actually saw when I did the stab, I was almost surprised that it went through, and then I'm like, oh, and I kept going because, yeah, it just railed through. Whoa, thank you so much. Thank you for the multiple. Hey, Eric. Yeah, I don't know who live stream is, but you're in trouble, live stream. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. So I'm out of targets, guys. I mean, we could talk swords more if people want to talk swords, but I'm actually out of targets for right now, which is unfortunate. But unfortunately, you know, I only have so many. And I'm trying not to drink as much. Those aren't all mine, by the way. I often get them from other people. So I don't have any of that. I'm trying to drink a lot more water than I have been in my past. So I'll leave those right there. That works. But yeah, if you guys haven't seen the full review of this sword, I just released it yesterday. So you'll get to see it cutting tatami and all that fun stuff too. So, and I go over all the little bits and bobs, fits and features, as Matt Jensen would say. But, and I still can't get over the way the tritones work with the black up here, this darker brown right here, and then this tan color right here. I just love the look of it. No, I mean, I'll give you spoilers. So obviously I just released the review on this one. I actually had a review queued up for another sword from a brand new company called Azure Forge. But it's a sword that they're not selling anymore because they made a copy of the Albion Kingmaker. And I called them out on that, and they were very gracious about it. They're obviously a Chinese company, as most reproduction swords generally are. And when I pointed out to them, they explained their process, saying, well, you know, we're trying to use available data to source the sword. They wanted to make a Henry V sword, but they mistakenly thought that the Kingmaker was the replica of the Henry V sword. So therefore, after that, they said, fine, we're not going to sell this because it would look bad for us. And they took it off the market. So I am still doing a review of it, but more like reviewing it in what they can do, because you can't get that sword anymore. So that's the way you have to look at the next one. It doesn't have a release date yet. It is available to channel members. So if you want to support the channel, the lowest sub is the lowest one that YouTube would let me do, which is like $1 a month. You can actually watch it now, as well as a lot of behind the scenes cutting footage. There's that one. But I haven't set, well, I think I did set a date on it, but it might move because I'm planning to release it with Matt Jensen and Vic and John of Unsheathed Sword Review. So we're going to release all 3 videos the same day. I'm just kind of waiting on them to tell me when it's ready to go. Hey, welcome from Arizona. Awesome. Awesome. I was in Arizona last year. I really want to go to Valley of the Sun cutting tournament once ever it lines up that I can get there. So that's in Arizona. So there's that one. I am working on not a full review. Well, it will be a full review, but I'm not going to score it, of my 20A. Actually, excuse me, both 20As. Swordier is sending me their Floral Night version too. So I will be reviewing both of them, but because it's a conflict of interest, I believe, because I helped design the blade, I won't give it an official score. So it'll almost be like a first impression piece with the addition of actually cutting with it. I just feel like integrity-wise, that makes sense. You guys will be able to see it. You'll see me cut with it. You'll hear me talk about it, but I won't give it an official score. And what I'm going to do for those particular reviews is I'm going to, anytime if someone sends me that they did a review of the sword, I will include it in the description of my video and in a pinned comment. So that way people can go watch 100% unbiased reviews. I think if you guys have followed me for a while, you know I generally give unbiased reviews, but I just feel because I helped make it, even if I gave a fair review, there would always be that question of he has some sort of vested interest, which I really don't. I don't make money off of it. It was a design that I worked with Swordier on, but I don't get like royalties on it or anything like that. So if you buy the sword, I don't see anything from it. I just get the joy of knowing people, you know, get to fight with a sword or, you know, cut with a sword that I helped design. And I helped design it because I wanted it too, you know? So that's the way I look at it. So there's no financial incentive for me to say, hey, you need to go buy this sword. But I still didn't even want to open that window of, oh, he scored his own sword. That's not right. So it'll almost be like a first impression piece. Hey, Faith, where am I from? Where are you still? Pennsylvania. That's why it's covered in snow. So I'm East Coast. Below New York State is where I'm from. So that's where my nose is running. It's cold as I wipe my nose. Please excuse that. So yeah, that's what I'm working on, Matt. So I'll actually have 3 other reviews. One that's already recorded and ready to go. 2 reviews for the Type 20s that I helped design, but they're going to be more like first impression pieces with cutting included. And then I will include links to other reviewers who've reviewed the swords. The Witcher 3 Witcher swords are coming up once I can get some help doing some outdoor filming. So those are coming up. Those are pre-production, I guess is what you'd say. Like, I've not done anything for those. The Type 20s, at least I've done some stuff for. have some footage, like, you know, recording B-roll, stuff like that I can do easily enough. Flora one is the same as yours apart from the scabbard. The blades. So Swordier has 5 Type 20A blades now. Only 2 of them use a blade that I didn't have a hand in helping. Those are the SWM-1038, which I reviewed on this channel. That was their first Type 20A. That's what made me reach out to them and go, hey, let me help you make this a little bit more historical. And then the one that I have is a customized SWMZ-1013. That's the double-ringed one. That was the first one in the line of what I'm casually calling, you know, the by the sword Type 20s. They have, I forget what number it is, 1010, which is the Type 20 with the Type 18B handle, as they call it. That one I didn't help with that blade. That blade's different. And then they released 2 more, which I think it's 1015 and 1017. 1017 being the floral one, 1015 being the pattern welded version with a still has the double rings, but the handle's wrapped differently and the scabbard's different. It's one of their premium line ones. So those are the 3 that I've helped, and I will review them sort of, but it won't be a full review where I give a score. But anyone who actually does a review, I will include a link to their review in the description. That way you can get somebody who didn't have a hand in help making it also scoring it. You got the 1010, 1013, and 1017. We'll compare their old and... Oh, yeah, BC, whenever you get them done, send me the links. Let me know. And when I do my first impression piece, because as I said earlier, I'm not going to score them because I feel like it would be a conflict of interest because I helped design the blade. Not the fittings, but the blade. So what I'll do is I will still give my thoughts on it, but then I'll include anyone at any point in time who does a review of those particular models that use my blade, I will include in the description. That way, there's a separation. Like, I'll still give my thoughts, but then I'll be like, here are people who have reviewed it, who have not had a hand in the blade, and therefore have no bias. So check out their stuff too. So that's my plan. I already am going to do that with Emblem Arms because he reviewed the 1013 model. So his review will be in the description when I finish mine. So, and honestly, the only thing I'm waiting to finish is it to warm up a little bit so I could do tatami. When I do tatami, I'm going to do my 1013. So, yeah, BC, let me know when they're done and I will include them. And that goes for anybody. If you ever do a review of one of the by the sword Type 20A blades, I will include your review in the description and a pinned comment for all my videos, just so that there's unbiased reviews that are also there. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. But yeah, the floral one is their newest one. I should be getting that one pretty soon, probably after the Chinese New Year. So that one I'll do a separate review on as well. I like that one because if I get a chance to go to a cutting competition, in the next year, either this year or in early part of next year, I probably won't have my Albion Viceroy yet. So I'll probably bring that Floral Knight, to be honest with you. I can't bring my 1013 because depending on the competition, they don't like side rings. It's weird. Some won't care, some will. So it's better I don't. So that's probably what I'm thinking I'm going to do, is bringing the Floral Knight to a competition. I also have a bear blade from Swordier, which they sent to me personally. That's not something they normally do, but I wanted a bear blade because I helped design it. So they sent me a bear blade, so it's all done. It just needs hilted, and I'm probably going to get Jesse Belsky to hilt it in a way that, you know, I want it hilted. What do you think of Sorter's Todd Cutlery copy? Will you check it out? I'll probably check it out. Probably not anytime soon. I'm not unlike you and Emblem Arms, I'm not an 18C addict. I'm a 20A addict. 20A addict. So like your Albion mercenary, or not mercenary, Maximilian. Of course, I looked up that. You know what I mean? I'm a 20A addict, so those are what I generally run for. So I like it, but it doesn't call to me like 20As do. Like if I see a 20A, I have to have it. It's just the way. That's why I bought the Viceroy. Like I had to have it. Like they call to me in the night like a siren, and I just go to them. But can I be really frank? Having not held really Todd Cutler's stuff in the past, I've heard there's some issues with Todd Cutler things. Not all the time, but because he outsources to another forge, sometimes there's quality control issues. And I even know that Kyle of Alientude reviewed the Todd Cutler War Sword, and it's not like it gave it a bad review, but he didn't give it a great review either. It was like, yeah, is it worth the amount of money Todd charges for it? I don't know. Again, it depends because he sells his stuff in, British sterling pounds. So depending on how strong it is to the dollar, like for me to buy it right now, I want to say it's almost $900 or something US. For $900 US, I'm almost at Albion level or Valiant Armory level. You know what I mean? So I don't know if the cost to value is there for Todd's stuff, because he's not like he's even making it himself, because his Todd's workshop stuff I think he makes himself, and that I think is probably worth the money. The stuff that he outsources for his brand, I don't know if it really is. Again, maybe if the dollar to pound was better ratio, if it was about $600, if the pound and the dollar were 1 for 1, yeah, it would definitely be worth it. I don't know if $900 US is worth the German war sword from Todd Cutler. You know what I mean? And it's solely based on cost, and conversion rates of the US dollar to British pound. I don't think it's worth $900 sword. It might be worth, $600-700 maybe. But that's kind of where I sit with it right now. As for Swordier's work, so I'm going to go back and say this one more time. So I believe in intellectual property and like ideas and stuff like that, especially for swords and sword designs, to a point. Okay. I don't think so. Like this sword in particular, I did a video about how they said this was an Albion mercenary copy, etc. I don't believe it was. And a lot of people even told me that, I should say a lot of people, like 2 people told me the only reason why they were be overly hard on Swordier for this model was because of the Mad Easton debacle. If that had never happened, they never would have thought about it, but now they're being overly scrutinizing. Okay, fair enough. I don't think, as much as I like Peter Johnson, which I do, don't get me wrong, I love that guy. I love all of his work. And I obviously buy Albions, so it's not like I'm going, oh, I'm only going to buy $200 swords. I've owned several Albions and some that aren't even here yet. So I've clearly put my money where my mouth is. But I think if you can't copyright general fittings and rough dimensions to a point. And I think I proved this with the Azure Forge, because I called them out for the Kingmaker, because that was so on the nose copy where I'm like, guys, you were intentionally copying this one. You could tell. And they admitted it because they didn't realize it. This one has enough changes. I don't think Albion owns Type T scent stopper pummels in this shape. It's one of the most common shapes. They don't. They also do the peen block different. That's a change. They include this on this one. That's a change. The Albion Mercenary is flat. This has a ridge. That's a change. And technically, the Mercenary is a Type 15A. And I know, BC, you and I disagree on this one, but I still believe this is a Type 18. And even so, the point is not near as reinforced. So the dimensions are not an exact one-for-one copy of the Albion Mercenary either. So that's where I defended Swordier on that one. The exact one-for-one copy of the Azure Forge and the Kingmaker, I called out, and they're going to change it. The problem I have with the other fittings that Todd uses, the fluted pummel and even the technically the crossguard and stuff like that, that's already out there, and it's like historical. And in fact, technically, Todd is copying it from other people because other people already made that one. In fact, where he outsources his stuff from is probably one of the same forges that supply those parts to Swordier and all the other Chinese companies in Lashuan. So, I mean, really? You know what I mean? Like, he literally outsources his stuff to India or China. I can't remember. I think it's India. They're probably using the same OEM parts that are provided to all the other places. So if you go, well, look, it's a copy of the same crossguard and the same pummel. Well, he probably got it from the same guys who ship it all the other places. You know, like, that's the way I feel about that. It's not something crazy to see, especially if you were in Germany. Everyone had those fluted, rounded scent stopper pummels and those double rings. Like, that was very popular. That was the fashionable thing to do in Germany in the late 15th century. So, yeah, you know, that's how I kind of feel about that, at least right now. If I got my hands on both pieces and looked at them in hand, maybe I'd feel differently. But again, I think part of it comes back to Todd is using an Indian or Chinese forge to source his parts. Those parts are made like OEM parts for computers and are shipped out to all the other forges. He's participating in the same business that the Chinese sword producers are doing. That it's not like he forged it himself. You know, it's just how I feel about it, you know. At least with Albion and Valiant Armory and Stephen Lockwood, those who are actually hand making all the parts themselves, yeah, that's a bit different. But he's literally sourcing parts from an OEM sword part producer anyway. So Todd is copying everyone else's swords that they're doing over there. You know, he's participating in the same bit. And I'm sure that they have a legal agreement with the forge stating that, hey, you're using these parts. These parts are OEM parts that are provided to other sword producers. Therefore, if you see it, you can't sue. I mean, that's what you're doing when you're outsourcing your sword production to India or to China. That's just what happens. And so I really don't think he has a claim to anything there, at least the way he's producing his Todd swords. Now, I think they're good. Don't get me wrong. I think they'd be fine. But, you know, I don't think you can say it's a direct copy when he's literally using parts that is available to everyone else. Of course, someone's going to put all the parts together. I can't wait to see Valiant Armory's ability to get their Irish war swords coming to... Oh, yeah, like the McGarry. Are you getting the McGarry? Is that what you're getting? The McGarry, the giant one? Compared to Albion, how do you like Valiant? And I agree with you now. Oh, you do agree that it's an 18C? Oh, it is an 18C. Okay, cool. I love Valiant Armory, okay? Honestly speaking, Valiant Armory's pieces in some ways are better than Albion. They definitely have better sharpness out of the box. I have a cut right here on my hand, from just glancing up against my Valiant Armory Practical. Like, that thing, I mean, I barely touched it, and it sliced my hand open out of the box. Valiant Armory beats Albion in sharpness by a mile. By a mile. At least with the ones that I have right now. So, and a lot of people tell me that, especially who do competitions, that they have to sharpen up Albions before they take them. So they don't come hair popping, paper cutting sharp generally right out of the box until you put an edge on them. So Valiant Armory, right out of the box, the thing is scary sharp. Their fit and finish is just as good as Albion. So, I mean, I know a lot of people put Albion as like #1 in a lot of things. I've held multiple VA pieces. Excuse me. And to be honest, Albion and Valiant Armory hold first place in my heart, to be honest. I mean, Albion has a lot of I don't want to say, like, I'm trying to think of the word I want to use. Because they were here first, because they have that reputation, they just have this, almost like this honor that's due them. I'm not saying this negatively. I'm just saying it, like, it's an Albion because it's an Albion. I love Albion. I obviously have bought multiple, so therefore, again, money where the mouth is. And as Festina says, yeah, the VA Vision, now working with Angus Trim, is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, Festina, I have their practical one, which is their own line. I have a Valor, which up until I got my Shadow Dancer Murahakasaki Katana, was my lightest sword by far. Like, it is so insanely light, the Valor. It is nuts. So, yeah, I really look at Valiant Armory and Albion as being on the same pedestal. They share the same pedestal. So, like, because their fit and finish is just as good as Albion's. Their sharpness is better. I mean, I guess you could argue that they don't quite have... The only difference I'd say that split the two is that Valiant Armory, by their own admission, do historically plausible swords. Whereas Albion, under Peter Johnson, do very historically accurate swords because they've held them. Both are right up there. Like, absolutely both of them are equal in my eyes, personally, between the two. Your light armor will be no match for my broadhead. That is true. Todd Cutler just did. Speaking of Todd Cutler, did he see his bows versus armor thing? Yeah, it's nuts. Poison dart frog, huh? I don't know where you'd get those, but yeah, no. Actually, I read a book. It's historical fiction, but Jack White does historical fiction. And he did a book called the Camelot series, just random. And because you said poison darts, and in one of the earlier books, I think it was one of the Pendragon tribes, or maybe it was Lot of Cornwall. They were coating their arrows in a type of poison that came from some mystics that came up from like Egypt. And it was killing people because it was poison. So they were poisoning their arrowheads, the armies of Cornwall. So I just thought it was funny, that you said that, because it just reminded me of that. So, but yeah, you found a poison dart frog on Amazon? Oh, wow. I guess you can get them as pets. Most poison dart frogs... I shouldn't say most, but I believe there are some species that, yes, they're poisonous, but it's not going to kill you. If you touch them, it might make you sick. But, yeah. Dang, isn't that a $1,300? No. This is a swordier one. This is a $300 sword. I do have a $1,300 sword in the house, but I was doing a follow-up cut of this one because I did a review of it yesterday, so I wanted to continue cutting with it and kind of just... I don't know, promote it some more that a full review is out there of this particular sword. Now, this is not a $1,300 sword. This is a $300 sword, though it does look really nice. But yeah, I did a full review of this on my channel, Truth. So you can check that out if you want to see it. Man, it's cold. It depends on their diet, or we? Okay. That's good to know. I have an axolotl. He's not poisonous, but he bit my finger today because he's vicious. He thinks he's a dragon. My son, I got my son an axolotl because he loves them. So he named him Toothless after, How to Train Your Dragon. It looks similar to the VS-700 Tauber. This one actually probably, this is a Type 18C, as you can see right here. It's a very cute point, but it's a sword ear Type 18C. This is probably more akin to, I don't know. I don't actually think there's a parallel. In looks, it kind of looks like the Albion Mercenary, but the Albion Mercenary is a Type 15A. So there's different shape in the way, like Type 15s generally aren't great cutters because they're super thick. This thing is not super thick. It's got that edge for cutting. But yeah, I do have a VA Tauber on the way too, which I'm excited to get. But yeah, no, Toothless, we got the natural ones, so he's not pink. He's like practically black with little like brownish spots. So he called him Toothless. And so we got his whole tank is filled with like Viking boats. So he sits on top of the mast, acts like a dragon, and I generally feed him by hand. But this morning he was swimming up towards the top to get my attention, so I stuck my finger in to, pet him on the head, and he turned around and bit me. Yeah, he thinks he's a dragon. Oh yeah, no, this is nice. And for the price, it's hard to beat. It could be a nice backyard beater that you're not really worried about damaging if you get it. So, but yeah, you can check out the full review. It's on the channel. Well, you can get different wraps on them too, Truth, if you get them from Valiant Armory yourself. But it's going to cost you like 2 years of wait time. That's where I'm at now. I bought a personalized Valor or a Tauber, and I'm still waiting in line for that one. I'm still waiting for my Viceroy, and I'm still waiting for my second Mercenary. Yes, I have two. Don't question me. I was contacted by Mike from Albion when I had it, and they're like, yeah, I noticed you already said you have a Mercenary. Do you really want a second one? I'm like, Mike, leave me alone. I want two. No, stop. I want two. Don't question. So, yeah, so I'll have two Mercenaries. I don't care. It's my favorite style of sword that they have. Well, Viceroy would probably be my first favorite, but I just like the general look of that style of sword. Like, everything about it just screams right up my alley. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. Yeah, I have... Let me think here. I think I have 24 different swords. 24 now. So I have an Albion Mercenary inside. Not including in that list of 24, I have a second Albion Mercenary that's coming with the wasted grip and half wire wrap. And an Albion Viceroy. So those are the two that I'm waiting on. I have a Valiant Armory Valor. I have a Valiant Armory Practical. And I'm waiting on my Valiant Armory Tauber. I have... How many swords do I have from Sword Ear? I have a lot from Sword Ear. I have their first generation 16A, their first generation 20A. I have the 20A that I helped design with Sword Ear. I have the 20 with the 18B handle from Sword Ear, because of course I have to. I have 3 Witcher swords from Sword Ear that I need to review yet. And I have a Cloudhammer SX-105V longsword. That one's fun. I have 3 Bugei series katana, the Old Pine, the Shobu, and the Raptor. I have a Cold Steel O katana from like 20 years ago. I have a Shadow Dancer Mora Hakasaki that I used their custom light builder for. I have a Medieval Extreme Buhurt longsword and a not Valiant, Krieger Armory V4 Sentinel Fetter. That's what I currently have. So, yeah, that's my collection right now. Play duel. Yeah, I'm making a mercenary staff like Darth Maul. Just be 2 mercenaries. Yeah. That's funny. Even your drug dealer recognizes you have a problem. Exactly. He's like, dude, seriously? Yeah. Yeah, Swordier is crushing the Western style swords right now. They really are. Also seeing their copies on Amazon. All the arming swords I did are from ROM and Swordier, but cheaper, all under 200. See, I don't really like the ROM ones. Now, don't get me wrong. ROM is really, really good. I'm not saying anything like that against ROM. I don't like them because they're not historical, and they're not made to be. And there's nothing wrong if you like that. I don't. It's 100% personal. I don't like them. So that's my thing. So, but that's me. That shouldn't go up against you if you like those things. They would work this, you know. But in terms of like actual historical accuracy and all that fun stuff, they really are knocking it out of the park. I feel a sneeze coming on, so please excuse me real quick. And it disappeared, but it still tingles in my nose. Hold on. Sorry about that. But yeah, Swordier is knocking it out of the park. They just released a COTS blogger, and Festina and I were talking about that one. Hardly anyone makes those, so now they have one. It's like, that is really cool. So yeah, cat blogger. They started doing a Roman Gladius, which I know Albion does some Gladius, Gladioso, something like that. Yeah, BC, that's what Festina said, the same thing, looks a bit heavy. But the fact is no one else is doing it. So, like, that's, and I would say that the one thing Swordier does do really well is they take feedback. They're not so prideful that if you go, yeah, this sword's not good for whatever reason, like, what do you know? You know, they're like, okay, you know, like, let me they take feedback and they make changes. So you got to give them credit for that, you know, that because they do that. So if it comes back, yeah, it's too heavy, they will probably make a like a version 2.0. So should be. So yeah, you're right, 400 grams overweight. But yeah, that is something that, you know, I think they can change and they can do some good stuff there. Yeah, I have not seen anyone else that has done swords that are as historically plausible as Swordier so far. I think if ROM decides to do like a more historical line, that'd be great. I think Azure Forge has the ability, because they literally copied the Kingmaker, and it's exact. And I was joking with Festina earlier that now it makes me want to buy a Kingmaker, and I never wanted a single-handed arming sword before, but after I handled Azure's, I'm like, theirs is a little off for other reasons, but it made me want to buy a Kingmaker. So, you know, yeah, and they make changes very quickly. Yeah, they do. Yeah, you're excited to get my 20As. Oh, yeah. I'm excited to see you review them, too. I'm actually just as excited when other reviewers get the sword that I helped design. Like, I was waiting for Luke of Emblem Arms to do his, like, because I knew he was doing it. And I knew he got it. And I'm just like, when's it coming out? When's it coming out? Like, I really wanted to see him do it. Really wanted to see him do it. So I was really excited when his review came out. Watched the whole thing multiple times. It was really good. So, and I don't believe Luke knew that I had a hand in help making it until after the review. I don't think so anyway. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know, maybe he did because, I mean, Alex does credit, you know, me right in his video. So, yeah, his review is really good on it. So, and he even had the monosteel version, which is almost a full pound heavier than mine. And he's like, this thing is so responsive, you wouldn't think it was 4 pounds. Mine is 3.14 pounds. So, not 14 ounces, 0.14 pounds, not even a quarter. So it's like less than 3.25 pounds. Mine is very light in comparison. So I know he even said that. He's like, I can only imagine what this thing would feel like half a pound lighter. And mine's almost a full pound lighter than his. So, and that's because I got the pattern welded. So, yeah, they do extra grinding on it to bring the pattern out, and it definitely does. Like, it brings the weight down a considerable amount. But, man, it's not. I wish I had more targets. Like, I don't have any more targets, and I wish I did because I'd like to keep cutting. Because you guys are so responsive and chatting. This is great, but I'm out of targets for today. I cut probably 20 bottles or something like that. So, but yeah, no, that's all I got for right now, guys. So, I think this is where I'm going to end the live stream. Like I said, I do have another review coming. You could check it out now if you are a channel member. As little as $1 a month gets you that. It's the lowest I could get for channel member stuff. So, all my videos are available at the lowest tier. I don't know when it will be released. I think I have it set for March 11th right now, but that will definitely change depending on when Matthew Jensen and Vic and John of Unsheathed Sword Reviews want to release their stuff. Hey, Alan, because we're going to release it all together for the Azure Forge stuff. So that's where we're currently sitting. So that one will come out. And if I know Matt hasn't even started his review. Okay. Yeah, Matt. Yeah. Let me know which one you get. Like, I really like this one. And I've heard that they have reinforced the tip a little bit on this model specifically. Which was really one of my only real complaints for this sword, was that the tip was so thin that I was worried about it snapping off. And if they've even added just a millimeter of girth to it, this thing is going to be great. You look like a good swordsman. I am very much a new swordsman, Alan. I do appreciate it, but I am a beginner. I'm a beginner. So, but yeah, that's where I am with that right now. But I will have the Type 20A reviews coming out here in a little bit. And it's John Allen. Buy the Sword is the channel name. But yeah, that's where I'm currently at. So you'll see more reviews, probably a few more shorts, you know, featuring this sword, featuring the one from Azure Forge. And then once some of this snow goes away and it's not freezing temperatures, I'll get my tatami out and do some more tatami cutting too with the 20A. So you guys will see that. All right, guys, I'm going to call it here. So I will see you guys later. Have a good one, everyone. All right, see ya.